Welcome to yet another FPL video now. Wow, what a game week 2 was, and in my case, all of the players in my team have played, but there are still a few games left, so Wolves against Manchester City and Sheffield against Aston Villa. I believe Aston Villa are at home in that one. And yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye on both games, and there's several reasons for that. Now, as you can see in the title of the video, this could be a wildcard team, and I will explain why. I will. It's not, in my opinion anyway, from the outside it may seem a bit reactionary. It's a look at the long term whilst also cutting out the hits, because I've already made transfers for this week, but in order to avoid those hits and also to add more quality across the board, I feel like a wildcard could help. But of course, the downside to that is having no wildcard in the future, especially when there's more injuries. Maybe someone doesn't play because they're contracted with COVID, or there's just so many things that could happen over the season. Even rotation, new players coming in, some players just losing their spot. But still, new players will come about, people that we haven't thought of yet in the coming game weeks, and it's always like this. In 1 week Son is complete garbage and Spurs are pretty much trash, and then the next week they score 5 and Son scores 4 of them, so it's very hard to foresee. But I'm going to go into my team first, and then I'll show you how my team is looking like for next week, and then explain why I might wildcard, and I'll ask you guys for your thoughts, because I think that would help a lot, just discussing the team with other people, and also I'd like to discuss your teams. But anyway, without further ado, this is how my team did, and as you could see, the first player in shot really is McCarthy with 0 points, concedes 5 to Spurs. Now, in my game week 1 draft, this is my mistake probably, but I did say I believe Southampton will be more, they'll be a better team than Brighton, and they'll probably keep more clean sheets, they'll be better defensively. First 2 games, if they're anything to go by, complete disgrace, because Southampton have just been awful, really, especially defensively, and the amount of space they gave to the likes of Son, even Lamella, Kane. I mean, Kane was pretty much dropping back and then assisting Son, just playing through balls or long passes, and Southampton then nothing, just absolutely nothing to counter that. So McCarthy, of course, I would just say this, if you have other problems, definitely don't focus on your keeper, because most of the time they're going to be getting 6 points max or 7 points. So don't worry too much about it. But if you're on a wild card, I would definitely consider going away from Southampton and Alex McCarthy. But yeah, not very good from him. Very poor. And then Davis in the same game, 1 point, conceded 2 goals, so lost the point there. But yeah, I mean, he's going to lose his spot to Reguilon unless he plays as a left centre back and Spurs switch to a back 5 in order to get the best out of Matt Doherty. But yeah, Spurs I don't trust for clean sheets. Like I said after the first game week, I already immediately regretted getting Ben Davies instead of Roman Saiss, and because Saiss is someone that I had for a lot last season, so the fact that I still went with Davies is foolish of me. What can I say? But whatever. Ben Davies, yeah, definitely getting rid of him, as I'll discuss in my team for game week 3. Reece James, I mean, he's playing Liverpool and Chelsea have 10 men because Christensen decided to rugby tackle Mane, but I don't know, with Chelsea, I am not expecting too many clean sheets, especially if they have, I mean, I'm not being disrespectful, but Kepa and goal, I mean, the mistake he made for Mane, that is pretty much a gift. That's the biggest gift you can get all season, just the easiest goal Mane will score. But fair play to Mane owners, this is why I said you got to keep a bit of faith. If you have Mane, stick with him. If you have Salah, stick with him, because if you keep switching there and about, you probably miss out on the point holes. But anyway, back to Reece James. West Brom away next. That's why I'm probably not going to get rid of him. And also his assist potential and how he gets forward, as he demonstrated against Brighton. I think he deserves a bit more opportunity. I mean, 1 game isn't going to change that. They had 10 men. If there was 11 versus 11 for the whole game, maybe he keeps a clean sheet. Who knows? It might have been a 0-0. Maybe he could have got an assist for something. To be fair, Chelsea should have scored the penalty miss, obviously. You got to score that, but whatever. Well, Reece James, I wouldn't react too much. Don't think too much about the points from 1 game week, because it varies week on week. No one produces every week, as I keep on saying. Now, Justin, I have to say, he keeps on ticking over, and it would be very harsh to get rid of him, but I might do that, but I'll talk about that later. But yet again, an assist against West Brom and a clean sheet, and then a goal against Burnley. No bonus points because I think the yellow card, whenever someone gets a yellow card, they're pretty much not going to get it. But James Justin's got Man City away next, and yeah, even if Justin's still in my team, I would definitely bench him for that. But apart from that, West Ham, Villa. The thing I like about Justin as well is that he actually gets forward so much and he gets into such great positions. Same with Castagna, who I'll be speaking about very soon. And I really like that about Leicester's fullbacks, and I think you can, out of them two, so Justin and Castagna, I think you can find really good value. Maybe even Pereira when he comes back, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. But yeah, for the time being, when Justin is in the side at left back, I think he's probably the best value defender in the game at the moment, at least for the first few game weeks until Pereira comes back. Once again, I'm not expecting too many clean sheets from Leicester, but from time to time, like for example against West Ham at home, Villa at home, I think that's the chance for them to do that. And also Justin and Castagna, like I said, can get these attacking returns. So fairly happy with him. His ownership's going up and his price is probably going to go up again soon. And remember, if you have a wildcard right now and you're kind of chasing price rises, you have to wait for each player to rise by 0.2 million in order to make a 0.1 million back. So yeah, just bear that in mind before you kind of lose profit or you don't gain the profit you want, and then you kind of question why. As for Trent, like I said, yeah, he did very bad in the first week, but then clean sheet and a bonus point against Chelsea, so fair enough. Did pretty well. Not even the assists or goals that you'd expect. He's taking most of the set pieces, but also Robertson is, and I really am intrigued by that. So Robertson takes them from one side, depending on how they want to cross the ball in, from which angle, and whether it suits Robertson or Trent best. And I think they're both. I think if you're going to get rid of Arnold or Robertson, just get the other. But I would definitely probably keep one of them at least. Van Dijk and Gomez, when he's back from injury, like they are good value, I guess. But Robertson and Trent, just the assist potential and the way they get forward, the set pieces they take, and they're quality players to watch, and they're not players you really want to watch Liverpool without owning at least one of them. So yeah, Trent, fantastic player. Not great defensively, but doesn't matter in FPL. You want the attacking returns, and he's one of the best attacking fullbacks in recent times. So yeah, for now, keeping him. But obviously, like I said, more to come. Now, Son, I did say in my last video, I'm not a guru, nothing like that, far from it. But the main thing with FPL, if you can, I know it's hard, is to try stick with players. So if you get someone like Son in for game week 1 and then Spurs look completely awful, and even in Europa League they look pretty bad as well, and that kind of puts you off Son, just remember why you brought him in and maybe give them at least a few game weeks to prove themselves. And if they don't do the goods, then yeah, then maybe get rid of them. But sometimes keeping patience with players is the most crucial aspect of the game, because I hate to hark on back to it, but last season, every single time, like this was me in my chasing points kind of phase. So every time someone didn't do well, I would get rid of them, maybe even take a hit, get someone else in. I did that with Salah and Mane, and I got the wrong end every single time. And then I'd think, oh, it's bad luck. And yeah, I might have had some bad luck last season, but that isn't bad luck, those sort of things. That's just being impatient and not just giving players a chance, because Son isn't going to score 4 goals every week. He's not going to score goals every week. He's not that type of player, but he's still a good player, and he's probably the best value for money asset at Spurs. So yeah, for now, that performance definitely cemented him in my team, because I was considering for maybe game week 3 or 4 getting rid of him, but this definitely bought him some time, and he went down to 8.9 million, and now he's back up to 9 million, and that just shows, I think a lot of people who got rid of him immediately got him back. But that's why sometimes you just got to be a bit patient, and it's not necessarily you being a bad manager, it's just you want the points, you want to be in your top of your mini leagues, you want to be the highest rank possible, and maybe sometimes you make some misjudged or miscalculated decisions and transfers, but also it's a bit unlucky, to be fair. Like, you can't just pin it down to being a bad or misjudging stuff. Sometimes it's a bit of luck. That's pretty much it. So if Southampton didn't have such a high line, if they were like last season when they beat Spurs 1-0, then pretty much everyone who got rid of Son, or most people, will have been justified. And I know a lot of people got Bruno in for Son, and that's something I was kind of thinking about. But it happens, and Man United will probably bounce back. Maybe they'll do better than Spurs this season. I would expect them to. So, don't feel too bad about it. But yeah, Son at 9 million, very good value for money. 24 points, that's 4 goals. I don't think I've ever had a player who scored 4 goals, really. I'd have to think, but anyway, forget that. Can't even speak. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Well, very consistent player. He produced in both games, but he only got an assist against West Ham, and I have to say, Arsenal were pretty poor. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I have to admit, I think West Ham deserve to get the win. But a win's a win. Aubameyang got an assist at least. You got to take anything that comes, really. Got to be grateful for everything. But yeah, in terms of captain options, I could have captained Lewin, of course, Son. I did have Lewin as vice captain in my last video, or the video before that, but then I changed it to Salah anyway. But yeah, Aubameyang against West Ham, who looked awful against Newcastle, and then Newcastle lost 3-0 to Brighton. All these things, and then Aubameyang good at home, good against non-top 6 sides especially, and Arsenal are looking pretty decent, at least against Fulham and in pre-season. But yeah, I think 12 million is a bit too much for Aubameyang maybe. I think with Mane, with Salah, with KDB, with Sterling, I think they're all better value options. So potentially, I'm not gonna try influence your teams or your decision making, but maybe get someone else. That's what I'm doing, and I'll explain why. But yeah, Arsenal, they're the type to, if they score even a few goals sometimes, maybe Aubameyang's not even part of it, or even scoring himself. Someone else like Lacazette or Willian or Pepe can come about, or Nketiah. So yeah, Aubameyang was pretty disappointing from an FPL perspective, but got an assist. At least I got 10 points from the captaincy, but yeah, not ideal. Salah, pretty disappointing that Chelsea had 10 men and he didn't really capitalise, but I think he had a good game. At least on the eye test, he was involved in the first goal, passed it to Firmino, and then Firmino crossed into Mane, but of course, no one cares. It doesn't get you FPL points, but yeah, I'm not too concerned. Salah away from home, especially against like top 6 sides, he's not necessarily the best player. What I expect really is in the home games for him to deliver, and he's got Arsenal next. He got 15 points last season against the same opposition. Yeah, circumstances are a bit different, but still, I expect Salah to be fine. Don't worry too much. Definitely don't overreact and think, oh, you know what, Mane's definitely way better now, because that's very, very reactionary. But like I said, pick one of Mane or Salah. I think one of them, I want to say should be in your team, but it would be very good. And just stick with them. Don't switch around. Saint-Maximin, I was already going to get rid of him, and he was disappointing. I mean, he got injured. Hopefully he gets well soon. He's a quality player. But from an FPL perspective, I mean, he got 3 goals and 5 assists last season in the Prem. I know he's playing for Newcastle, but he is 5.5 million for a reason. I think with someone like Klitsch and Costa, in hindsight, they're better value options for sure, or even Podence from Wolves. And Klitsch has gone up to 5.6 million. So yeah, they're all better options, I think, than Saint-Maximin. Hopefully he gets well soon. And hopefully Newcastle fix up a bit, because to lose 3-0 at home to Brighton, I mean, fair play to Brighton, but yeah, Newcastle looked awful in that game. As for the strikers, Calvert-Lewin with a hat-trick now. Not many weeks where 2 of your players score 3 goals or more. And Son and Calvert-Lewin, that's 2 hat-tricks, and then Salah last week. It's a bit of luck as well, you got to say. And I just brought in Calvert-Lewin for this week now. I brought out Danny Ings for him, and Danny Ings got 11 points and he got 2 goals. So I think if West Brom didn't get the red card to Kieran Gibbs, I think that really it might have been a different game. I don't think that it would have been, a 5-2 game with Calvert-Lewin scoring 3 goals and then James completely dominating. Because they're actually, I want to say struggling, but it was quite an even game before the red card. They went 2-1 and then it happened. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin did the business. There's a bit of luck there with the red card for sure. But, I'm very happy to have him. I think the main reason I had him really is just the value for money, and he should be going up in price again to 7.3 million. I got him in before he was even 7.1, so that's a bit of good fortune there. And yeah, his long-term fixtures, the value for money, which allows me to upgrade Saint-Maximin, all of these things just made it kind of a logical decision for me. But yeah, I had in mind that Danny Ings could do better this week than Calvert-Lewin. I was already mentally prepared for that, so I didn't come in with too many expectations, and he got a hat-trick, so very happy with that. And as for Werner, to be fair, he would have got the assist if Jorginho converts his penalty, so that would have been twice that he wins a penalty and then they're converted. But he's a very good penalty taker himself, so if Jorginho's not on the pitch, you should expect Werner to do so. What I didn't like, really, I mean, he took quite a few poor touches, but he is quality, you know that for sure. He's got the pace, and he's got the IQ to cause problems to defenders, but very, very wide. I know he's done that at Leipzig, but I think he really needs Pulisic and Ziyech, if I'm being honest, because yeah, he just doesn't seem to have anyone who can connect with him. Because right now he's just got Mount and stuff, and Havertz in the wrong position. I don't think it's really working at the moment how it is. I think Havertz looked like he was playing as a false nine. Werner was pretty much playing as a left winger, and it is disappointing, but it is very difficult. On a wild card, maybe Werner isn't the best option. You look at Jimenez, you look at even Martial if United actually fix up. They all look more appealing. Calvert-Lewin, even Harry Kane. But with Werner, I'm not sure. Like, on a wild card, probably not in your team, but would you want to get rid of him when he's got West Brom away next? Palace at home may be tough, fair enough, but then Southampton at home, if they're anywhere near as bad defensively as they were against Tottenham, then Chelsea can have a field day, and Werner playing in behind a high line. They're very appealing fixtures, but then you look at Jimenez, he's got even better fixtures, and Jimenez is Premier League proven, he's consistent, and he's the main source of goals for Wolves because he's their best player. So there's a few things to think about, but anyway, that's pretty much my thoughts at the moment on my team. And Basuma got a red card for some stupid Shawn Michaels move. I don't know what he was doing anyway. Mitchell once again getting points on my bench. He got an assist. So fair enough to him. I think, 4 million definitely the best option right now. And hopefully he keeps his spot. But with Van Aanholt coming back, I'm not sure. But got to enjoy it while it lasts. And maybe I should actually fucking play him. But anyway, that's another story. Now, this is how my team's looking for next week. And I'll provide a quick summary and then explain why I'm considering a wildcard. Now, as you can see here, there's quite a few changes. There's 3 changes. What does that mean? That means a -8 hit. So I'll talk about the changes. Saiss is coming in for Davis. That was something I've planned ever since pretty much Game Week 1 happened, and I immediately regretted getting Davis. I should have had him from the beginning. I had him. I didn't stick to it, so that was my fault. Want to rectify that mistake by getting Saiss in. Very good long-term fixtures. Look at this. Man City at home, that's not going to be in my team, so I'm not worried about that. But West Ham away, Fulham at home. Leeds away could be very tough, especially defensively. Newcastle at home, Palace at home. That's a lot of fixtures the way they can get clean sheets. Like I said, maybe 4 clean sheets in that period. Wolves are definitely capable. They've done stuff like that before. And even through this tough period, maybe bench him. And either way, he can still do well against some of these teams with an attack and return or maybe a clean sheet here and there. So Roman Saiss definitely in. Now De Bruyne, value for money pretty much. If I play my wild card, I'll see how Sterling also does. And if Sterling kind of keeps the trend of being really good in away games, then maybe Sterling is the guy I go with because they've got a lot of away games in this period, especially against tougher opposition. But De Bruyne, he is the best player in the league in my opinion. And most attacks at City go through him. So yeah, and he's just one of those players that if you watch City, you don't really want to watch Kevin De Bruyne unless you have him in your team or you just don't play FPL and you have no stress. But yeah, De Bruyne in for Aubameyang, I think is quite a logical decision, something I've thought about already. So it's not me reacting to Aubameyang doing fairly poorly against West Ham. It's just Arsenal's fixtures take a turn for the worse. I still expect Aubameyang to score some goals, especially against the likes of Sheffield and stuff. But De Bruyne is just fixture-proof. City are a better team. They score more goals. So yeah, De Bruyne is in right now. And the other change is James Rodriguez. And this is not reactionary. I know I get him in after he gets 12 points. So yeah. But the reason why I've got James in this week is because he's a big upgrade on Saint-Maximin. And also Saint-Maximin's injured anyway. And I made this transfer before. So like, yeah. I think at 7.5 million at the moment, he is the best value option, but like I did say, I think the 10 men West Brom, like them getting a red card, did massively influence things. And without that, maybe James doesn't do as well as he did, and also Everton overall. So you got to take that into account. So if you bring him in this week, don't expect him to immediately haul. He's going to get a price rise soon, of course. We'll see when. I thought he would have got one booked already, but yeah, I'm not expecting anything against Palace, but after that, I think there's definitely some returns in there. But we'll have to wait and see. Either way, James can play sometimes quite deep. But yeah, definitely an upgrade on Saint-Maximin, and that's the main thing I wanted. Just don't have faith in Saint-Max to play him week in, week out, as much as I rate the guy as a player. And yeah, my bench pretty much, Davis is probably not going to play, but let's say if he does, maybe he'll get a goal or something against Fulham. Probably not. Justin against Man City away, because Basuma decided to become Shawn Michaels. So yeah, that's pretty much my team. But now, let me explain why I'm considering a wildcard. Why would you consider a wildcard? Well, it's quite simple, really. Like I said, I'm taking a -8 to get Roman Saiss, Kevin De Bruyne, and James Rodriguez in. And they're all upgrades, in my opinion. They're all upgrades. They're all better value for money. But also, what I can do with a wild card, as well as cancelling the -8, is getting in better keepers. Because, like I said, I don't expect Southampton anytime soon to sort out their defensive problems. And either way, they're more of an attacking team. Defensively, they just can't be trusted. But with Ryan and Martinez, what you can do is rotate between them. So let's say, for example, Ryan has Man United at home next. Oh, what do I do? Let's just put Martinez. Who does he have? Sheffield United at home. No, Fulham away. He's playing Sheffield United at home today. My bad. But Fulham away. And then he's got Liverpool at home. I mean, it's not ideal, but I believe Ryan's got Everton away. So yeah, I think the rotation goes quite nicely if you look here. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of rotating keepers, but I have to say, last season when I did so with Nick Pope and Dean Henderson, it worked wonders for me, and I pretty much always got on the best end of it. So it takes a bit of luck as well. Sometimes a penalty save, even against a Man City or something, propels a keeper to like 10 plus points. So you've got to take into account that. So I improved the goalkeeper situation massively, I believe. But of course, only do that on a wild card, like I said. Then Robertson for Trent. This is obviously a debatable one. This is not because I believe Trent won't outscore Robertson, but I think they'll get a similar amount of points. And like I said, Robertson could be better value for money with that 500,000 less, because like I said, they're going to get a similar amount of points. They both get the clean sheet if they both play. And Robertson has nearly as much assist potential, takes some set pieces, and he can get some goals in there as well. So also, I mean, don't think too much about ownership, but his ownership is also very appealing because Trent is like 40% or something. So yeah, that's something to take into account. Now here is kind of maybe a bit of a harsh move, but Justin out for Castagna. Now the reason why isn't just because he's pretty much done very well in the first 2 game weeks and he's the highest scoring defender. If you actually watch Leicester, most of the attacks come from Castagna, and at Atalanta he did the same thing. He's just unbelievable going forward, and obviously same fixtures as Justin, and I could really even keep Justin for this period of time until Pereira comes back, but I would expect Castagna to move to the left because he can play both sides, and that's why Leicester brought him, and Justin will be like a good backup. But Castagna's a long-term option, and Justin, as much as he's doing very well offensively, Castagna's even better, and he should have a place cemented in my team. So if he's in, he's pretty much going to be in every single week, unless they're playing Man City away or something like that. And if not, I can rotate with Mitchell. There's no problem. Like, everything's hunky-dory. So that is the kind of thinking behind that. But Castagna just looks like such a player. He should be getting a prize rise. Well, he is maybe acting like a bit of a prize on FPL, but yeah, a price rise very soon. I think he could be one of the best at 5.5 million. But then again, it's only 2 games. I still don't expect Leicester to keep too many clean sheets. So you got to weigh all these things up when you make your final decisions. As for the midfield, I'll be honest. I mean, obviously, I cancel out the De Bruyne and Rodriguez moves, as in the -8s, and also for Roman Saiss. So bear that in mind. And also Anguissa in for Basuma. That's pretty much just someone to be on my bench to collect points. The other thing I could do is either just keep Justin and remove Castagna, and then instead of Anguissa, I can get Costa from Leeds United or Podence from Wolves. So there's a few options I can do with the budget I have and with a wild card. So those are things I am weighing up at the moment. And then the other move would be Jimenez in for Werner. Now, this could massively backfire in the short term when Werner plays West Brom away, for example. But Jimenez, he's still got West Ham away, Fulham at home, Leeds away, Newcastle at home, Palace at home, like I said. And he is fixture-proof in my opinion. Yeah, he's not going to do well every single week. I don't expect him to. He's 8.5 million. He's playing for Wolves, who are a good team, but they're not going to produce every single week. So he's just someone I know I can rely on. I've had him for 2 seasons, pretty much, and he's always done well for me, pretty much. So, yeah, Jimenez, very reliable, very good player, and yeah, obviously I wanted to own him for Game Week 1 with his haul, but you can't do that every week. And obviously the other options I could do is maybe get Martial instead of Jimenez, just keep Werner, maybe get Danny Ings, even though I'm not too sold on that, even with his 2 goals. And yeah, even Malpai, but I'm not too sure about him either. But there's so many options I can do with a wild card, and I pretty much make 8-9 transfers, including the keepers. And yeah, I have a better overall team. I cancel out the -8. So I want you lot to let me know, would you just stay with the -8 because it's already done, there's nothing I can do, maybe it's a mistake of mine, or should I play the wild card, cancel the -8 basically, and improve on other areas and maybe get better value options, for example like Robertson in there or Jimenez. Of course, in the short term might not be a good move, but in the long term I believe it's all in the right vein. Then after that, of course, circumstances will change. Maybe Chelsea just don't keep clean sheets. James doesn't look like a good option. I get rid of him. There's so many things that can happen. United might look really good again. Then I might want to get rid of one of my midfielders for them. There's so many things that can change. But that's FPL. That's football. That's the Premier League. You know, and no one's going to produce every single week. Sometimes some teams do badly, and then straight away they do very well. So yeah. Just take this with a pinch of salt, but I believe a wildcard could be very beneficial. But if not, I am fairly happy with my team for this week without going with a wildcard. And let's say if I don't play the wildcard, I will just say this briefly. Werner could be in the last chance saloon because, like I said, even though if Jorginho converts the pen, that's 2 attacking returns in 2 games. I don't know, I think I would want Ziyech and Pulisic to fully bed in with a run of games with Werner. In order to just bear the fruits of having Werner, and he would then be probably getting goals on a consistent basis. I think he really needs those 2 players. I think they'll make a massive difference to Chelsea. And yeah, Werner could be gone very soon. As for other players, McCarthy, I don't like changing keepers, but let's say if I have no other transfers to make, McCarthy is someone I would definitely consider getting rid of. And yeah, when Justin gets displaced, probably someone like Castagna in. If he continues this form, even if he doesn't get points in the next few games, but he's just always attacking, I think Castagna could be just, wow, he could be pretty much the new Doherty in that sense, or even better. But we'll have to wait and see. It's 2 games, can't get too excited. Yeah, so that's pretty much my thoughts. Let me know. No. How can I go an entire video, which is supposed to be a preview for Game Week 3, without discussing my captain options? What a dumbass. Anyway, these are the 4 players who I am considering to captain. Timo Werner against West Brom. I know it's not ideal. Werner isn't looking particularly great. Chelsea aren't yet either. But Pulisic and maybe Ziyech are back against West Brom. West Brom, of course, are pretty much bottom of the league, conceding so many goals. But yeah, most likely he's going to be down in the pecking order of captaincy options. Then there's Son, because of his 4 goals against Southampton, and also he's at home against Newcastle. A few years ago, I think 2 seasons ago, he scored a last-minute winner against them. But then again, Spurs aren't consistent yet. Their attack is pretty good, but sometimes they're kind of limited with some of their options. Maybe when Bale comes in at some point, Spurs will look like a better unit going forward. But yeah, Son also maybe not someone I'm particularly convinced by. Then there's De Bruyne and Salah, both at home. If you think about last season, both were very good at home. I think De Bruyne actually did very well against Leicester at home last season. And then Salah, like I discussed, got a 15-point haul against Arsenal at home. Even though Arsenal are maybe better this season, but I still expect Liverpool to do well and also Salah to be a big part of that. So those are the 4 captain options here. But obviously, if I do make these transfers, I still probably wouldn't actually captain anyone else. So yeah, I think it would be between these 4. And at the moment, I've got the captaincy on Salah and De Bruyne vice-captain, but it could go either way. I wouldn't captain James or Calvert-Lewin because Palace look pretty decent. And even if Everton do win, I don't expect them to score too many goals. However, back your gut. Don't just listen to what I say. You've got to just pretty much think about who you think is going to get the most points, pretty much. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. No one ever gets it always right. Otherwise, there'd be no point of having FPL. You just win every single time. But yeah, those are the 4 captain options. At the moment, I'm with Salah because of his home form, because of his record against Arsenal as well. And because Liverpool looked very good against Chelsea even before they got, the red card. And then with De Bruyne, I haven't seen him play yet. But yeah, I think I still expect them to have a very good season. Leicester are a good team, but I still expect City to score a few and for De Bruyne to be a big part of that. But I'll wait and see how the Wolves game goes, because maybe if I'm on a wild card, I'll get Sterling in instead of De Bruyne for now, and then maybe bring De Bruyne in for the future. Because like I said, in the away games, Sterling is better. This is a long-term thing, by the way, not just the Leicester game at home. And yeah, De Bruyne is better at home. So it's a very difficult decision to weigh up. But at the moment, Salah's the captain and De Bruyne is the vice-captain. And yeah, good luck with your captaincy options. Let me know what you think, like I said, of my team down in the comment section below. How did you do in Game Week 2? How is your team? Do you have any problems with your team? I don't mind discussing, of course. I love discussions about teams down in the comment section below. And yeah, hopefully all of you do well. Like I said, a lot of luck is involved, but also patience. Be very patient. And I say that even though I'm thinking of playing a wildcard, but don't mind me too much. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and share the video with your friends and family. I really appreciate the support on the last few videos, and more to come, hopefully more points to come. And yeah, if you had a bad week, don't feel too down on it. You'll have next week. You might even smash it next week with the same team. So yeah, patience is definitely a virtue. I don't have it sometimes, but whatever, you know. Can't have everything. But thank you for watching this video, and like I said, let me know what you think. There's a lot of tough decisions left to be made. Thank you very much.